Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. How we doing today, Kyle?
I am living the dream. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. It's pretty late for you over there. You still kicking? Arm still
It
swinging?
is late. It is late for this old man, this dad bod, but here we are.
Well, it's good to see you smiling and out here. Let me tell you.
How is Mr.
Uh,
Nashville?
Nashville's good. Still nice down here. No complaints from this guy. Not one bit. And we got playoff baseball on, which I normally don't care about, but it's getting exciting. Alrighty, folks.
Okay.
We are diving into some NFL injury action this week, and boy, oh boy, have a lot of superstars gone down. Way too many. It kind of begs the question: is there something wrong with we're having too few padded practices? Is the practice intensities too low out there? Is it the dreaded synthetic turf? Whatever it is, but it's something the NFL is going to have to monitor this year because these superstars are going down left and right. Kyle, why don't you lead us off with the injury update and the fallen soldiers?
Yeah, unfortunately, some big names went down this weekend. Malik Neighbors, season-ending ACL injury. Tyreek Hill, dislocated knee, season-ending. Ricky P is dealing with some kind of knee injury. Seems to be annoying. He played, got, I don't know, like 8 points for me in one league. I played him in. And get this, I played him over Georgie P in the flex.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's tough.
that was
Ooh, that's
painful.
tough. Man.
Still won. I still won in that league though, so it's all good.
All right. All right.
Lamar Jackson is also dealing with a hamstring injury. Looks like he'll be out a week. Those are the top four big ones we have here. Initial thoughts on those? I mean, these guys are non-replaceable guys. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
give you a few guys on the waiver wire, some obvious ones, of course, but it just sucks. They're non-replaceable guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
I
a
mean, with
Joe
Lamar,
Burrow.
right, right. No, exactly. And with Lamar, I mean, that's even crazier for the Ravens, who are now 1-3, and something we'll be discussing. But now without their leader at the helm and being facing 1-4, I mean, oofda, that is a serious question mark there. So the Giants losing Malik Neighbors, that is absolutely terrible. But in all of that dread, they found something glorious, and that is the man called Jackson Dart and
That's
the
true.
future
Yeah.
of that offense. So although it's a dark week and a dark season for them, it is going to shine bright in the very near future because Jackson Dart is the real deal. They got Scatabo back there. That Giants team and offense will be productive in the years to come. So that's good to see. And then Tyreek Hill, I'm afraid that might be a career ender for those who don't know about dislocated knees. It's a medical emergency. You're talking nerve risk, you're talking vascular risk in there, and you're talking multiple torn ligaments. Probably the ACL at a minimum, if not the LCL. So, I mean, the damage that occurs in those injuries, that is, for his age, that is very scary and dark. Why don't we talk about something a little lighter here? Someone that you drafted early and often, your boy, Ashton Genty.
Yeah, Genti finally came through. He found the end zone, what, three times? Two rushing, one receiving, or the other way around?
That boy went off.
Let's see, 21 carries, 138 yards, average 6.6 yards a carry, one touchdown rushing, two catches, 17 yards, two receiving touchdowns, 33 points. Finally, right? Like we were
Yep.
expecting at least more of this those first few weeks. And they were decent defenses they went against. A lot of it was also game script too, right? Like when they get down and Gino's just airing it out, like it's not the best case for this team. They need to
Yeah.
be in games, they need to be balanced. Gino is not the guy that's going to be able to do it all and win games for you.
Come on, no faith in Gino. I'll tell you what it was for Genty though. It was his stance. He went back to his college stance where he stands straight up and looks
Straight
like a
up.
Mike Myers out there. Everyone was saying that online because he looks just straight up. All right, he's so short. He
He
probably
is
needs to see
so
over.
short.
Probably needs to see over the line. I'll say one thing I like about Genty is his style bully points. Any DB, he runs him over. He lowers
Mhm.
his shoulder and runs him over. And every time I'm like, this guy's gonna die.
He's
And
got
every
such a
time he
low
runs him
center of
over.
gravity
Oh, I
too. He's
know.
dangerous for DBs out
I,
there.
I would not want to have to tackle him with the way he looks out there. He looked great. He looked
And
great.
a lot of those first 3 weeks too, this offensive line isn't a very good offensive line. So
Yeah.
like his yards after contact, I think were just like some ridiculous number.
I
So
do believe that. We'll have to monitor that one. But yeah, it's they got to come together a little bit here, and they showed some life. They showed some life out there.
for sure, for sure. What
Um,
about Hampton?
That is another rookie that is starting to take off, and that injury to Najee Harris Boy, our Hampton owner is going to be happy for that one. He put up 27 points. He looked like the real deal. He looks like the go-to back. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can pass block. Amarian Hampton owner should be very happy right now due to that Najee news because he is going to be the bell cow for it looks like from here on out. He looked great.
So Hampton, through the first 3 weeks, averaged around 3 yards a clip. Last week, he averaged 10 yards a carry. He had only 12 rushes, 128 yards, 1 touchdown rushing, and then 5 catches for another 37 yards.
Yeah, with the game script, they were playing behind. They were behind the Giants on that one, and they absolutely needed to throw the ball. So that's why. Could you imagine if they were leading that game and they could just keep handing him the ball? That would have been some gory numbers.
Yeah, he's still got 5 grabs. He's still getting the rock in the airs, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So he's going to be an all-purpose back for them. And, a terrible week for the Chargers against losing to the Giants like that. But nonetheless, at least Hampton, gave him something to smile about.
Yeah, very disappointing for the Chargers. I also started Herbert in a league, so I was very disappointed with that. And it sucks because he was performing so well through those first 3 weeks. I think it was like at least 20 points each week.
Yep, and he goes to good old MetLife and looks terrible. He did lose his tackle. He didn't have one of his tackles.
Oh, he lost another lineman. That's right.
So that was So one of his big tackles were out. So boy, that had an impact. That had an impact for sure. And the Giants just came out looking like they wanted to play football again. So kudos to that team in that game. To be honest with
Herbert, week 1 against Kansas City, almost 28 points. Week 2 against Vegas, 19 points. Week 3 against Denver, 14.5. And then the Giants last week, only 12.5.
Look at that cliff.
Yeah.
Put him on the bench until he's got his tackles back, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, also the number 1 receiver there, Ladd, getting just crushed by Keenan and Ladd. Or Noah. Huge.
Yeah, he is no longer their number 1 wide receiver. He is lucky to be considered their number 3 wide receiver. He's a talking point that I have coming up today. I mean, he's turning into Casper the Ghost out there with Huge. It's like Herbert can't even see him anymore. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that? You have him in Dynasty?
I have him in Dynasty, so I absolutely hate it. I think it'll balance out as the season goes. I don't think. Well, I've been hating on Huge for a while, but eventually here he's going to shut me up.
I don't think he already has, production. Adam. I'm calling the challenge flag on that. He has already shut you up.
All right.
He has had some monster games. He's still getting the tons of targets. Even with all those guys there, he's startable.
I'm doubling down.
Does it last?
He will not. I'm doubling down. He will not maintain this level of production the whole year. Ladd will come back into the front and center, and Keenan Allen, and he'll still be the big play guy, but he's not going to be this consistent with volume like he has been. I'm sticking to it.
I'm very shocked with the amount of production he's had. Last year, it was clear he was a weapon for them in the red zone. That continues, but he's just been a target monster too.
Yeah.
The young lad has 6 grabs week 1, 70 yards. Week 2 against Vegas, 5 grabs, 48 yards. Against Denver, 4 catches, 40 yards. And last week, 1 catch for 10 yards, and he's got no touchdowns on the season.
Okay, so let me.
You got to bench him. You have to bench him right now, or you're going to be in trouble.
I will be benching him in Dynasty League, but let me why I'm doubling down one more round. Defensive coordinators, from their perspective, what they have to look at least in terms of last year, is get Ladd out of the game. Do not let him catch the ball. Double him or make sure he's not getting open in the zones. And don't even worry about Huge because he doesn't normally do anything. And I think that's why Huge has been so successful this early. We'll see if those coordinators switch up their style a little bit, and we'll see if that balances it back, or we'll see if I'm blowing smoke. We're going to find out pretty soon.
I mean, Quentin Johnson is wide receiver 4 after 4 weeks on the season. So
he finishes top 10.
You certainly have to be starting him in most cases, at least in the flex, depending your roster build.
Yeah, until otherwise, yes.
Yeah, I mean, until otherwise, I would agree.
Yes, bench Ladd and start him until otherwise. In terms of how you play your lineups, you have to, right? You have to. But it doesn't mean that there's not a long season in front of us where we can still circle back to this moment.
Keenan Allen is wide receiver 9.
Yeah. So that's insane.
That's crazy.
It's just insane. That is not sustainable one bit.
No, I imagine both these guys might see a dip too if their offensive line is worse and they need to run the ball a little more or do some shorter passing, get the ball out quicker if they're not confident in the line situation. Obviously, they lost their left tackle, the stud, too, before the season even started.
Yeah, this one's just an ankle, so this one isn't season ending. The most recent tackle to go out should just be a couple weeks, but we'll keep our eye on his ankle and how that's doing.
Let's talk
Woody. Woody.
Woody! Not today, cowboy. All right. Woody Marks took over. He took over. He got some
He
points.
did. He
Um,
absolutely did it.
this is going to be the hot waiver wire stash, I think, for most leagues if he's
And this
available.
is murky one right here because this is something you got to ask yourself: is this a one-off event or is there more to come by this? And this is even thicker and murkier because Chubb's there, and you got Joe Mixon. Whenever he's going to get off his bench and heal his ankle, he's going to return as well. So you now have three potentially starting running backs where that is going to get murky. You don't know. I mean, you haven't heard much about Joe Mixon.
What
Usually when
is
there's
up
no,
with that?
it's
Can we
his. I
get
think
some
it's something.
insider information on him?
So usually when they leave it dark like this, it's usually not good because once it's green, they're going to be like, all right, yeah, we're going to get some optimism out. But once they say nothing like they have been about his foot and ankle, whatever's going on in there, that usually means there's something going on they don't want to let people know about. It's usually not good. Could be wrong. Maybe since I said that, he'll be back next week now. But you never know. But it's a murky one, and I don't love using a waiver to pick up Woody when you still have Chubb and then potentially Joe Mixon coming in there. However, last week did tell us that Woody Marks have more carries and more snap share than Chubb. Okay, but again, that doesn't factor in a whole nother head entering into that equation, which makes this tough. I'm not going to use a waiver wire. However, I could see anyone justifying that. And then the last point, Texans look like trash. Their offense looks like trash, and
Well,
it's another reason why I'm
they
not.
just shut out Tennessee.
I didn't say their defense. Their defense looks great. Okay. Their offense looks like trash. And we were both wrong on that so far this year because they have not bounced back one bit. But yes, the defense is phenomenal, and that doesn't factor into any of these triple head running back monster that they're going to have coming pretty soon here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys Woody Mark stats so far. Week 1 against the Rams, 3 carries, 3 yards. Week 2 Tampa Bay, 3 carries, 14 yards. Against Jacksonville, week 3, 6 carries, 27 yards. And last week, 17 carries against Tennessee for 69 yards and a touchdown, 4 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. So he's clearly getting the receiving work. And against Chubb, of course. So if they're going to
Yep.
continue to use him that way, he definitely gets a boost in PPR.
Yep.
So in PPR, I would find it hard not to stash him pending your roster situation. And
Yep.
even just to see, like, what if Mixon doesn't come back the entire year?
That's
Then
true.
this guy, he has a potential to be a league winner if this continues. I certainly
Well,
don't trust Chubb to continue to be, you
I mean,
know,
Chubb has looked solid to start the year. And let's take something that's very important here. They beat the crap out of the Titans. I don't think it was I mean, it was a close game to start, but I'm pretty sure by the end it was a blowout, which means more of the volume went to Woody Marks because of that. In any close game so far, Woody Marks has not gotten the total of volume. So that's why it's another. Is this a one-off or is this them progressing to give him the lead role? And I can't answer that either way yet. I think next week we'll know more once they have a competitive game again.
I mean, it's at Baltimore. Baltimore's pretty banged up. Um,
Yep.
I mean, Chubb, these are his attempts through the first 4 weeks: 13, 12, 9, and 13. So it's not like he's featured by any means getting 20 carries a game, right? Receiving work, he's got 2 catches, 3 catches, and 2 catches. So
Either way, it was split. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Either
I
way, it
think
was
it's
split.
going to continue to be split, but I think Woody carries the explosive upside and potential, especially in the receiving game for more of a breakaway here, and potential later season, alpha. So that's kind of where I see it. And
Alpha.
I mean, he could, right? Chubb's
Yeah,
an
that's- I
older
ain't-
running back.
yeah, I get you. I want to challenge what you're saying, but I see some merit to it. I agree with the most highest long season upside, and that's why I'm not gonna
Yes.
lose my shorts here like I want to. But it's 1 week.
Well,
It's
good.
one
Nobody
week,
wants to
and
see that.
well, no one would. Who says I got shorts on right now?
All right. Okay,
All right,
so I mean
Woody.
that's he's got potential. I mean, if you want a waiver and you got a roster spot, I would 100% go for it. For
Sure.
me, the league I would consider him in, unfortunately, Big Tuna. I was able to waiver Trey Benson last week,
Who did
so
nothing?
who did not do much last week, that's for sure. Let's move on to him real quick. But I'm pro Woody. If it, whatever. I
Are
don't
you
know how
now?
much you'd blow your budget on him.
Oh, that is
But
quite the phrase.
I
We're gonna
do
have to get
see
that quoted.
I do see
I'm pro
a
Woody, but I don't
split.
know how much I would blow on him.
That's right. I do see a split backfield for the foreseeable future, but I think he's the more talented, younger, explosive guy with better potential. Um, yeah, Trey Benson only 8 carries for 35 yards, averaged 4.5 yards a carry, 5 grabs, 19 yards. So PPR, he got you
He ain't
10
no James
points.
Conner. He ain't no James Conner. I
He's
can tell you that
definitely
right
not as
now.
a physical runner as James Conner. I
I
mean,
miss watching that guy run already.
he'll still catch passes, and he's got a potential for much better games ahead. He played
I'm pretty
Seattle.
sure
Seattle's defense is
it's very
a
good.
pretty good defense right now.
Yeah,
So
that's impressive.
defensive
But I'm
minded
pretty
head
sure
coach.
DeMarcado also cut into Trey Benson's volume and targets more than anything. I'm pretty sure DeMarcado had a ton of something. I think it was
He catches.
catches.
He had some
Yeah.
catches. We can look that up. Interesting though that Woody Marks went off against Tennessee, and that is who Trey Benson and the Cardinals play this week. Interesting.
There you go.
Interesting.
There's a good matchup alert
Interesting.
out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, let's move on. Why
Um,
don't you bring up Georgie P?
Georgie P. He has to fill some shoes with CD no longer being on the field right now. And boy, did he fill them against the Green Bay Packers in what was an absolute shootout and led to one of the stupidest ties I've ever seen in my entire lifetime, 40-40 game. NFL should not end in ties. They need to get rid of that after this season immediately. Go to a 2-point conversion, 2-point off. I don't care, but don't end in a tie. Besides the point, Georgia P looks good. He got his camaraderie going with Dak, and I think that CD's absence here in these first few weeks of the season could really help the mesh between Georgie P and Dak to help them later in the back end of the year. Cowboys right now are one of the best offenses in the NFL, paired with the worst defense in the NFL, which I love saying that because, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean the Packers game. If you're a Packers fan, it sucked, but obviously it was a really kind of exciting game to watch. The
It
back and
was.
forth all the way
It
to the bitter
was.
end, but it sucks.
It
It ended in a
was.
tie in overtime.
Yep.
Like for me in Dynasty, I have Jake Ferguson and George Pickens, and it's going to be really hard not to play both of these guys
You
to
play
get
both of those
huge
guys while
targets.
CD is out. You play both of those guys for sure. Once he comes
Yeah,
back in, you're gonna have to refigure that. But
I mean, think about this. I'm gonna play him. I guess I'm gonna have to play him over T. Higgins, who I benched last week, and I don't know
the
what to
Bengals,
do
the
with
Bengals are
right
done.
now.
See you later, Cincinnati. You guys,
So
you're playing like your season's over. Hoofda.
yeah, and the other one I play him over is Ricky P. So I guess that's what I'll have to
Yep.
do
Yep. Ricky P's
going
out anyway,
going
so it makes it
forward.
easy for you.
Yep. Okay. Do you have a
I mean,
timetable or any idea on CD?
no, I think it's at least. I want to say at least week. Hold on. No, I don't. I'll check. We'll see if we got anything. I don't remember what was it. Hamstring.
Ankle, I think. But if you drafted George Pickens, obviously you're feeling really good right now. You got a nice receiver you can slide in with huge upside as he produced, and hopefully you had him in your lineups last week.
Week
Um,
6 until week 6 is the earliest he'll be back. It sounds like for CD.
okay. Okay. All right. Ravens, Lamar, hamstring, and
Yeah.
they're 1-3. Not really a good setup. I'm anticipating Derrick Henry to get a lot of carries this next week. I mean,
Have you seen 2 weeks his performance? Pretty sure he's had less than 5 or less than 8 points the
uh,
last 2 weeks. They have not been able to get him going.
yeah, so I'll read off Derrick Henry for the season against Buffalo: 18 carries, 169 yards, 9.5 average. That's insane. Against Cleveland, week 2, 11 attempts, 23 yards. What happened? Terrible. Cleveland does have a ridiculous run defense all of a sudden,
Yes, they
though.
do. It is
Against
formidable.
Detroit, 12 attempts, 50 yards, 4.2 yards a carry, and a touchdown. I mean, I'd still get him the ball more. Against Kansas City last week, 8 carries, 42 yards. He still averaged 5.3 yards a carry. That was a lot of game script. And
Yeah.
Justice Hill is the receiving running back there and did have a monster week as well.
Yep.
So that's part of it. Last week, he had 5 catches, 41 yards, and a touchdown through the air. He also had 76 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown. So he broke one off there. So 28 points for Hill last week. I mean, that's like a rare case where that's going to happen, but there was some of that last year as well. That's why in a deep league, I actually have Justice Hill just in case for these things.
Yeah.
But
So
for Henry owners, you just gotta he's got to get fed. He's got to be the focal point, especially with Lamar out.
with
I
Lamar
don't know
being
who.
out, he needs 20 carries a game. He absolutely needs 20 carries a game. Why don't you figure out who the backup is? Because I want to talk about something out with the Ravens here, which is the worst case scenario. Say Lamar is out for the next 3 weeks. The Ravens place the Texans. There's a strong defense, not a good offense. The Rams, and then the Bears. So the next 3 weeks, those are 3 losable games if you do not have Lamar Jackson, where you're looking at a potential 1-6 start if Lamar is not out there due to that hamstring. Now, again, he can only be gone for 1 or 2 weeks, maybe, and you come back for Chicago and you dominate that game. But right now, the Ravens are favored to lose against the Texans, and they are going to be favored to lose against the Rams as well if they don't have Lamar, which means that puts them to 1-5. That is a scary start for this Baltimore team. And to your point and what you brought up, Derrick Henry needs to get 20 to 25 carries a game or more, and that has to be the way. And there is no other way for that team without Lamar Jackson behind the center.
Yeah, I mean, I picked this team to go deep, potentially Super Bowl. This team and the Buffalo Bills, and
if you start 1-5. If you start 1-5, man, granted they can bounce back middle of the way. It gets a little easier for them.
And I think they will. I think they will, but it looks scary right now. They need to take a page out of Aaron Rodgers' book and relax. But they do need Lamar back. And like Adam was saying, the schedule, they also have a early bye week 7. So hopefully they don't hold him that long, but I could see that being the case, and I could see him coming back week 8 against Chicago and them also having a bad record. They need to at least win one of these games without him, and they are tough matchups. But we've seen crazier things.
Yes, sir. You got anything else on those?
No. AJ Brown, another letdown from AJ Brown. Let's all take a sigh if we had him in a lineup somewhere. Good, that guy. Come on.
This diva, I gotta go off here, and I gotta take a moment to just express my feelings about AJ Brown and this diva whining again, blatantly going on to social media and blatantly undermining your team directly after a win because he wants the ball more. That is the definition of a diva. That's the definition of a loser's mindset. This is why we call them divas, and it's absolutely disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting to be doing that to your team, to be thinking about yourself after you're winning games. Like, what are you doing, dude? Be happy you're 4-0 and shut up. I hope Phillies trade him. I hope they trade him. Trade him back to Tennessee. Help out Cam Ward because they don't use him, and clearly he doesn't like that. So if you want to go produce, then go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Super Bowl contending team, undefeated team. So he is their best wide receiver. So they gotta bunk up. They gotta get this figured out.
They need to trade him for a better secondary piece. That would make them a better team. They don't use AJ Brown anyway, so trade him for a better corner, lock up that secondary better, and get him off your team.
All right. Other than week 1, he's actually had targets. So I'm gonna read you week 1 against Dallas, 1 catch, 1 target, 8 yards. Week 2 against Kansas City, 8 targets, 5 catches, 27 yards. Week 3 against the Rams, 10 targets, 6 catches, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. The get right game, like, all right, we feel good again. We can pass and catch in Philadelphia once again. And then last week against Tampa Bay, he had 9 targets, 2 catches, 7 yards. I mean, the targets are there the last 3 weeks. They are just not connecting.
And the fact that he's getting the targets and still whining is also my issue.
God, what do you think? He's,
run better
after his ex-girlfriend or eating his Hot Pocket and can't. What's the deal?
Oh, good. That's good stuff. Yeah, I don't know, but I hate his mindset. I would hate him if he was on my team.
Hold on, I gotta read my book here. We're in the middle of the game.
Yeah, you read about inner excellence, and you go help yourself out over
there. All right. Moving on. Moving on to pickups. All right. If Wan'Dale Robinson is available, likely not. But he's a must add if he's available. Yep. He was already a PPR guy. He's already done really great. I see him getting more targets. Slayton, I think Slayton is the more wild card, but I think you'd probably want to pick him up if you need receiver depth just to see what happens.
Less proven, but maybe more upside just because we haven't seen, what he can do without Malik being there.
Yep. And then Jackson Dart at quarterback for the Giants. I think he proved enough, especially with his legs, for you to want to have him. 1 quarterback league. If you don't have a backup, I'd certainly scoop him.
Big time.
or above maybe someone else that's a bum or that's injured right now. Two
Yeah.
quarterback leagues if he's available. Obviously, he's must add.
Yep. He left it all on the field, runs the ball well, and they're going to be playing from behind, which means they're going to chuck the ball even more. So, like, Dart has some serious value here with the way he runs the football, and he looked phenomenal. So,
Yeah, I'll tell you his stats. He had
anytime you
13
beat a
for
3-0
20, and
team,
against his Chargers, that's a good team, a
anytime you
good
beat a 3-0
defense.
team with a great defense,
Yeah,
that is phenomenal as your first start.
13 of 20, um, just over 100 yards, 111, so a little light. One passing touchdown, 10 carries, 54 yards, and a rushing touchdown is where most of his fantasy production came from. But you know it's points. If he's going to continue to have that and run and be healthy, and he has a very favorable matchup. They play the Saints this week. So that's a juicy matchup for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, pick him up. Why not if he's available?
100%.
All right. Once you move on to tight ends,
Darren Waller coming off the couch and into the NFL out of retirement. This was his first game back, and he put up 2 tutties and had about 18 fantasy points. And I think it was only off 3 targets, so I'm not going to get too carried away with the target share. However, as we know, Tyreek Hill went down, and outside of the Penguin, there is not a lot of bodies left to now catch the ball on the team. So I think Darren Waller's target share is now going to go up to at least 25%. And
four
he is
targets, three
clearly
catches, 27 yards, and 2
and he is
touchdowns.
clearly who they are looking for in the red zone. I mean, it was the most obvious thing in the world, and he was jumping over the safety, catching the ball, Randy Mossing him. So Darren Waller now has a ton of value. Scoop him up. Yeah, he played great.
Yeah, and that's kind of been his, big body strength throughout his career.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously had a really nice career with the Raiders when he was there. Malik Washington is all of a sudden interesting in deeper leagues, I believe. Let's see. I'm going to read you his performance year to date. Week 1, 5 targets, 2 catches, 20 yards. Week 2, 2 targets, 1 catch, 2 yards. Week 3, 5 targets, 3 catches, 12 yards. Week 4, 3 targets, 2 catches, 13 yards. So he did also have a rushing touchdown a return touchdown. He is a returner as well. But he's a dynamic playmaker. Deeper leagues, I could see this guy having some more value. Otherwise, Waddle, Warren, and our man A-Chain all get a bump, I would say.
Yeah, I was thinking about that last night. The way Tyreek helps move the ball on third down, I think actually the entire offense gets a downgrade, unfortunately. Kind of similar to how when they lose Tua, the whole offense gets massively downgraded.
Yeah.
But I've
No,
seen
I agree as
him
an
throw to
offense.
Tyreek so many times on third down where he just hits him in the middle spot of the zone, and it's like, okay, needed that. And now without him, that gives me fear for this Dolphins team. I think everyone gets pegged down a little bit, minus maybe targets. Sure, they're going to go somewhere.
That's exactly how I feel.
But when
I
you're
think,
not getting first downs, it's not good enough. So we're going to have to, we'll watch that. But I'm scared about that.
yeah, I mean, I think you could see a little more boom or bust from any of these guys, but I think to what you said, yes, the offense overall is a little bit downgraded now. So, but any of these players could have better weeks. It's just going to be a little harder probably to be consistent is how I look at it. Other than
Yeah.
A-Chain. I think A-Chain's still going to be very consistent. I would like to think Waddle, especially in PPR, is more consistently a performer now.
He should
And
be.
Waller, I think, that was his first game back. So hopefully he'll get, healthier, more involved
What
in
else
the
you want him to
offense.
do? You're 2 tutties. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we like to see that, but you also want to see more targets and looks his way.
Sure.
But yes, and okay. And Tuna, are you picking up Waller? Who's your tight end? Oh, you got Brock.
I have Brock Bowers. So maybe I'm releasing Brock Bowers pretty soon here. If he keeps doing what he's doing,
Is he doing that bad?
Oh, he's doing that bad. He needs to be slapped upside the head. Better bounce back in week 5, or I'm going to be looking out for tight ends.
Brock Bowers currently tight end 9.
Not good. Granted, he had a little injury that could be still affecting him, but I don't care.
He really just can't find the end zone.
They're not throwing him the ball enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have Njoku and Big Tuna, and he's been a joke. He is tight end 22 right now, and I'm considering right now Waller, dropping him for Waller.
I would absolutely have Waller over him every week. without a
Yeah.
question, especially with Tyreek Hill now. Like him, Kincaid, there's plenty out there that are doing better than Njoku. My God, that offense sucks too much.
Okay, who you got next?
That is well. The only other thing is, I don't know what's going on with Warren, Jalen Warren, Steelers running back, but he was a last minute scratch last week, and because the boy Kenny Gainwell had a massive week, I think it was like 20 or 30 points or something like that. So if
Yes, he
Warren's going
did.
to miss more time, put Gainwell on your team or put him in your roster. Not someone I'm really eyeing up, but I don't know if Warren's got a serious injury. Light that up. Last thing I'm going to say for the week is we got bye weeks coming up next, folks. So for Falcons, Bears, Packers, and Steelers, you will not see your team play. They will be in the athletic training room getting ice and e-stim, resting on up.
All right. You got anything else for us?
I'm happy you stayed up this late for us. Really appreciate you over there, big fella.
Yeah, no problem. In Big Tuna, where you sitting?
2-2.
2-2. I think that's where I am too in Big Tuna.
It is where you are.
All right.
You
In
got a couple
Dynasty,
three.
you have to toot me in Dynasty here. I am undefeated. I am on top. I've been the leading scorer 3 weeks in a row. I know it's going to go downhill now. I got to knock on some wood after this saying this, but wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm. That drywall don't count for a knock.
There's wood behind it. There's wood behind it.
You just lost Lamar. We'll check in on that next week.
That is true. I did lose Lamar. That's going to be a problem.
Good stuff.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Football Channel. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
Yes, sir.